This will be my final update for the Fire Heartseeker for Last Epoch, Tombs of the Erased. Been working on it quite a bit. I did make a few changes, and that's what I'm going to showcase is a few of the major battles to show. You know, while the one I posted previously, my previous video, was quite good, could take out Aberroth, this one's even better. We're fighting, of course, Tier 4 Jorah, which is a great test of your setup. And if you struggle on this fight, your build's not done, in my opinion. If you can take her out relatively easily, you have a good build. You really do. She's equivalent to something like maybe 300 to 400 corruption. So it should not be too challenging. Now, obviously, knowing the mechanics help. Like that, knowing when to teleport. One thing I did, and you'll see when I go through at the end, I added a helmet that everybody seems to use with Heartseeker, which gives a bunch of crit. I was trying to avoid the need for that. I was trying to hit my crit cap without that helm so I could get alternate affixes. As it turned out, 100% chance to crit with the crit multiplier is just too nice. Aberroth, of course, when he does the swinging, you get behind him. Otherwise, just a matter of dodging shit on the screen. I want this video to be a little bit shorter, just to be a synopsis. Now, I'm going to post below a few different versions. I'm going to post the actual version I'm running in this footage, which does have more health too, by the way, than the prior post. I'm also going to post what I consider the necessary affixes, because I have some stuff that, you know, as you craft or buy stuff, it has stuff you don't need. So it's a better reference that way, something called necessary, which will show, hey, if you want to run this setup, that's what you should do. Right now I'm showing over 700 corruption that this build can run. I actually think it could do over 800 corruption. I was kind of considering getting this up to 1,000 corruption, and I might still, but I'm starting PoE 2, and I don't know if I'll have the time, because I go back to work June 1st, so we'll just see if I have the downtime to get this over 1,000 corruption. I think eventually I will. It's just going to migrate into Standard League anyway. Now, some few small changes from the prior video, and one is you'll notice the punctures coming out, those little darts. That helps a lot on mob clear, because we take a node that gives us more shred armor chance, but it doesn't recurve anymore, which means it doesn't chain anymore when the enemy dies. So to make up for that, when the enemy dies, you get a puncture that comes out. And it works very nicely on mobs. It's not necessary for boss clear, but it helps quite a bit on mob clear.
Easy. Too easy.
So, wanted to show this footage. I'm just showing, hey, this is fun. It's a fun build. By the way, if you run this on like 500 corruption or, you know, 300 corruption, it just melts stuff. And so it is strong. I wanted to do this build because a lot of people do the cold version, and I wanted to prove, hey, this version can be quite good as well, and it's fun because of the Dragon Fire. And finally, lastly, I'm going to post a third version below, which will be labeled Ideal, and it'll have stuff I was not able to obtain. Very expensive things that require multiple LP, but not totally unrealistic. You know, it doesn't use like a 1 in 16,000 drop or something. It uses things that are possible. It is possible to get with Circle of Fortune or Merchant's Guild, but quite difficult to get. Including a Shattered Worlds, which is the ideal relic for this build, which I was never able to get. It's just so expensive, especially if you want a 1 LP one. After playing PoE 2 a little bit, this feels really nice. This feels much better. But of course, we'll get there. I'll work on the PoE. I'm trying a mercenary out for the first time. As you can see, with the amount of crit and just scale damage, this build uses cold and fire. So one thing I replaced on the rings, which I'll show shortly, is I replaced percent fire with percent elemental, so it scales both. One thing about this setup, because you don't have a shield and block, you do have to, you know, use common sense, especially high corruption like this. You know, over 500 corruption is considered high corruption, I'd say. There are people that run like 3,000 corruption, but most people don't get there. Here's just a quick overview of the changes. I added more of these to get more health. Instead of like 2,100, 2,500 is the goal. Because you don't need the crit because of Peak of the Mountain. Now I was able to roll on Bow Elemental, Tier 7, and then I was able to hit Dex after a couple tries. It's the same amulet, same quiver. A lot of this is the same, but the rings I replaced. Now, the sealed affixes are garbage. These are what I bought. I couldn't get a perfect one, but got what I needed. The implicits matter a lot, by the way, in Last Epoch. The belt, this is the big change. This just turns all my potions into ward. And that's one of the major changes, because it's not that expensive to get a 3 LP. I also got rid of Outlander's Tenacity. I found I wanted to put it into damage. Get more damage. Kill them before they kill you. And I added more concentration for more damage. And got dex scaled as much as I could without red rings. Build does not require red rings. And there it is. The puncture. Anyway, everything's posted below. Ideal versus actual. And this is it for this build.